excellent impact of Bahai Television. I have two great minds with me, for Professor Musoke and Professor.
Yes. So a lot of parents have approached me to ask that, but what is really the point? I said, no, you people were carried by names because these places are called professional institutions. So you watch them, but the majority, 95% of the people who are teaching there are still the same University of Buea lecturers, who most of them are lecturers, they are professors and the rest, but they have not claimed to be professionals. They have not claimed to be professionals. So if you are calling your institution professionals, come and teach what they know. So professional institutions bring in professionals. But let me tell you, it's very costly to bring in professionals. And that is the reason why when you see just the fee of the professional institutions, it's about 1/20th of a true fee of a professional institution. So, but nevertheless, we cannot come and be saying things on board. We allow people to do their business and allow people who don't go for information and for counsel to continue to fall prey. So the issue is not that these people are also coming out and are also, have they truly gathered professional knowledge?
What is the difference?
It's what you do. I did an MBA. We should call a professional knowledge, because it's difficult to form a professional and he comes out and is unemployed. He will employ himself. He will become self-employed, because the training of professionals, they don't train you to go and look for jobs.
They train you to be a job.
True professional training, they don't train you to go and look for jobs. They train you to be able to create what you wish to create and employ other youths. Okay. That's the real training of professionalism. Yeah, so please, I just needed to make that small point so that we should not keep on blaming parents and the rest and blaming the multitude. There are thousands of these young guys outside, even more than our mother universities, who are unemployed now. And many people are asking the question, why? I've answered it a little bit. I'll bring some of those guys on board here, let them talk.
Of course,
to the public.
That will be another conversation.
So that you people ask them hard questions, let them talk to the public. Why the majority of their graduates too are outside? The same like graduates of other institutions. What really is the problem? Then I'll see whether they'll tell lies on board. Thank you.
We are in this dilemma already, wherein we graduate and we have little jobs or little or no jobs to cater for ourselves, and most of our youths are lazy about or are just idle in their homes. That's why we are posing the question, Mr. Musoke, that apart from, you mentioned slightly maximizing the social media.
Yes.
So Gilbert has mentioned agricultural potentials.
Yes.
In Cameroon and Africa, what are some of the opportunities here at home which our youth can maximize, they can grab and embrace heartily so as to excel and increase their portfolio?
Yes, there's what I call clerk. That's what I call clerk. When I train youths, I use clerk. Or at times I use clet. Now, what is clet? Let me take the clet now. I always tell youths that the space in which we operate is very dishonest. And if they wish to succeed tomorrow, they have to become honest. And that's where the word K comes from. Talk about kingdom. I always talk to you about the kingdom first. I say, if you don't put your life in the kingdom, Jesus Christ, who is the master of the kingdom, you will hardly make it. Even when you gain all the knowledge, you will be dishonest because you will be stealing. And before you realize it, you are down. Then I also tell them that you should develop leadership skills. Because a leader does not cheat. A leader does not steal. A leader, I mean a genuine leader. I'm not just talking here about position holders. I'm talking about leader. Somebody who has a leadership spirit in him will look for the welfare of the community. And leaders are very scarce. Leaders are scarce. Position holders are in their millions. They hold their positions, but leaders are people that are very scarce. Then now when I finish with these two, then I go now to the real thing that has to do with skills and the rest. This is the reality. I've been in the field for long. Most of the people who cry about opportunities, I've told them that opportunities go with skills. opportunities, go with skills. There are many opportunities. Either you gain the skills that are required for those opportunities, or you stay at home and be grumbling. Then I tell you, most use that. A lot of physical jobs are scarce today.
Yeah.
Very scarce. Even the person who has the highest skill may still not be employed. So they should take the side of business, entrepreneurship, and investment. That is the side that is selling today. It means that you need to gain business knowledge in a particular area. Gain the skills that is required to do business in that area. You may not so much need foreign funding. I've told them. And when I talk about the skills, one of the skills is for you to be able to write a good business plan. A good business plan that makes sense. Well, if you put it in the hands of anybody, look at it and say, yes, this makes sense. Such a business plan, such a business can be funded. Yeah, there are many Cameroonians that are funding initiatives, but they wish to be sure. That's why I started with the issue of the kingdom. That's to talk about your character, talk about leadership. This thing, when you have a leadership mindset, you want to see things succeed. Else, when they give you the 10, 20 million francs, you take and put in your pocket and you jump in bars drinking. And at the end, no business. Then, the T now is talking about technology. There are technological enablements today. Technology is there to enable you. Even if your business is not in the digital field, it's not in the digital world, but there are technological abilities, technological enablement to enable your business succeed so that your business can even be viewed worldwide. And you can be in Cameroon and you are selling to people in China, United States, Europe, and the rest because of the type of business you are doing. Don't jump today. There is this line today, everybody jumps in. There's the other line, everybody jumps in. Hey, this new line here, everybody is going into. No, you cannot live your life like that. You should get a niche and pitch there. Be trained. Gain the skills. There is no way you will not make it.
Mr. Musoke,
Yes.
you're talking about people doing the China line, making money from it, earning 1 million or 14 million from the digital platforms.
Yes.
Can we go with like a bit practical? What are some of the things they can engage in? For if I want to earn like a lady you referenced,
Yes.
I also want to earn 14 million. To be honest,
Okay.
Bro, I'm sure you also want to earn 14 million.
Yes.
The viewers what you want to earn 14
I'll
million.
bring that lady on board.
Yeah, but just before you
Yes.
bring the lady,
I'll
what
bring
are
you
some
on
of the
board. I'll
things
bring
we can
her on board
do?
to speak for herself. The people should see and hear for
What are some of the
themselves.
things we can do digitally that we can earn this 40 million? The social media is a huge platform.
Yes.
What are some of the things, the niches you can encourage youth to engage in so I can also earn that 40 million?
I wish to assume that most youths are not digitally inclined. Mm-hmm. Let me tell them what they should do. I assume that they are not digitally inclined. Mm-hmm. This is what I always say in my seminars, and I still wish to say it again. I say, to make money, you need to solve problems.
Yeah.
I gave a lady a simple idea in my office. That lady is making millions today. She came to my office pleading for help. That, sir, I've been seeing you on TV and this. I said, can you help me? I said, well, I want to help you, but I'll not give you money. I'll just give you 20,000 francs. So I gave her 20,000. I said, please, this is what I wish to tell you now. I say, go on your status. But before you put this information there, do a survey of all these ladies who are doing hairstyling. Mm-hmm. Tell them that you can supply them mesh and most of those products at a cheaper rate and of high quality. When you have convinced a good number of them, go to Douala. Try to get the initial spot where they are selling the cheapest. Do an arrangement and tell them that you are a student of Boya and so on, and you wish to be supplying Boya. You have a line to supply Boya, even for 20 to 30 million. You can be supplying Boya.
And there's a huge market.
And there's a huge market. I say try it once. That even if they may be skeptical for the first time, but a good number of them want to use you. Give their contact, give everything. Then she told me that, okay, sir, I'll do it. That I'll even put the nails and the rest. She went and made a good flyer and put on her status. Then she went and did what I told her. 3 months after that lady came to my office, he says, sir, you are a magician. I said, no, I'm not a magician. He says, do you know that I'm making about 1.5 million francs now every month? He said, what you told me is what I did. And let me tell you, I'm going to increase this business, is going to expand right to Douala and the rest. So now this is just a simple idea which I gave. So at times we look far, forgetting that there are simple things just around us, which are a problem that you can solve and make clean money without even going online. Yeah. So I always tell you that look around you first. There are too many opportunities just around you. But at times some of you are ashamed, pride, you wear suit and the rest, and you don't want to bring yourself down to do certain things and start from there. I also work some time ago with these guys who are repairing all of their phones and the rest. And I told one guy, please, do something like this. Contact all these guys who are repairing phones. And you now will be like the demarche, the middleman between the people, then spread in your groups on campus and the rest, that you know how phones can be repaired very fast and the rest. Most people will pass through you. You will receive commission. This guy at the end, he came and told me he was getting at least 150,000 francs a month, and it helped him to go into school free because he was recommending so many people. I arrange with those people that anybody I bring, you give my commission.
Of course.
So there are many of such initiatives. I said there are just too many around without going to the digital platforms that we are talking about, content creating and the rest. These are just the simple ones that are around, and there are thousands of these simple things that are just around us. We claim as though we are not seeing them.
All right, thank you very much, yes. Mr. Musoke. Just to give you a rundown of some of the things you have mentioned, the opportunities that we as youth can grab at home and maximize it. Professor Gilbert Eyabi talked about agriculture, of how we can expand our horizon just from the cutlass and hoe situation, wherein we don't farm just to eat, but we farm for commercial purposes, and we modernize and advance our agricultural endeavors. Mr. Musoke also talked about the digital platforms where we can earn 14 million francs a month from online and more from online, and engage in IT in things like IT, content creating, and all of that. He has also talked about business and entrepreneurship. We can open stores, we can do businesses, and just observe around us what problem that is going on that the people need a solution for, and then you craft a business surrounding that. He also talks about phone repairs and talked about fashion. Of course, not ignoring the fact that we live where, for example, is being consumed by the fashion industry. And just to add one example to that, when I was in school, when we were in the university, Professor, we had this young student who was my coursemate, and we had these CBE exams where they would ask us names of departments, names of university officials, and then this guy was smart enough to go accumulate all of these names and put them together. That was the first time I ever saw it. He went to each department, got their HODs, went to each faculty, got their dean of studies, accumulated all the departments and HODs when the university was created, and gathered all that information and put in a booklet. And he sold, I think, was for 100, 200, and people bought it. And that's an example of us being innovative at home. But now, aside being innovative at home, our topic for today cuts across opportunities at home and abroad. We now want to throw back this question to you because you are our expert, a traveler in the house. So, what are some of the opportunities abroad that youth can maximize and take charge of? And what have you as a person, as an African, been doing to help these youth accumulate and grab these opportunities?
Thank you very much, Kadi. That is pretty loaded. Let me, before I jump into that, very quickly, Mr. Mosoke mentioned a couple of things you can do on online platforms. I want to say selling online is something you can do from the comfort of your home. Okay? And you do not have to be the one that produces the things or even be in possession of these goods. You can visit some of these big name stores around town and some of these women who sell vegetables and so on and so forth, and tell them that, okay, I'm going to market your things, okay, and just come up with some kind of arrangement. Because if people know that it exists, I can sit in the comfort of my house and order 2 bundles of grain, a bundle of bitter leaf, and some plums, and some this and some this. Just click on that, and it tells me how much it is, and says Momo it. And if I'm guaranteed that I'll get the products delivered to my house in under an hour or 2, before you know it, many people will start using that service. So all you need to do is, once that thing comes there, you already have a couple of Okada people that you network with, and you text them, you WhatsApp them the list. They go straight to the store, gather the things, rush to the place, deliver it, either get the money from there. So you can work it out in a way that everybody profits. The people who actually go to the market, who go to the farm and produce the grain, and the Okada drivers who are doing the transportation, and then you is just at home with the platform. Yeah. That's what Uber does. That's what Lyft does. They're all multi-millionaires. Uber does not own a single, well, now they're trying to own cars, but they're not a transportation company. They're a tech company. But they transport people all around the world and make millions. The cars are owned by the Uber drivers. The gas, that goes in the car, Uber drivers, and so on and so forth. You just use the platform. So
they're just the middleman. They connect the drivers and the passengers.
The middleman. So they're just linking the drivers and those who need rides, and that's it. And they make it over 35-40% of each whatever they get per ride. So those are all things. You are frustrated. You're probably just frustrated because you do not know the opportunities that lie out there for you. Yeah. A good number of persons have contacted me. She asked what I've done. I've helped so many. There are a good number of PhD students now and even PhD graduates in the US that still send me emails to thank me and for the role I played. Now, somebody once said that you don't want to be an alligator. You cannot be an alligator in a foreign man's land if you cannot be a lizard in your own land at least. So if you can get your first degree and get it well, not a first degree with a GPA of 2 or 2.1, it's a little bit harder to transition from that to anything lucrative. But if you have your first degree, ladies and gentlemen, the opportunities to study abroad are out there, and there are so many such opportunities. US is looking, I don't want to get into US politics, Republican, Democrat, and so on and so forth, but US economy is based on immigration. Okay, don't mind some of the things you hear. It's based on immigration, and they're looking for immigrants. Universities are looking to get students. So, but you need to have a first degree first in most cases. So once you get your first degree, you go online, you look for an institution that has whatever you majored in, and you apply. Very often, you'll get a graduate teaching assistant or a graduate research assistant. I went to the US through a graduate teaching assistant, and when you do that, you get there, you don't pay tuition, you don't pay anything. They actually pay you per month, because you are doing research with some research advisor or you are teaching. And once you go through and get your master's or get your PhD, that's it. You can decide to do whatever you want. Some people decide to stay in their major. Like me, I love teaching, so I stayed in teaching, and now I'm a full professor in mathematics, and I'm also an administrator at my university, third in rank from the president. So, and it's a university with about 80% white faculty, and yet I'm one of the highest officials in the entire university. So, you can make it. We are very intelligent in Africa. I mentioned that before. We are very smart. Okay, I cannot even proceed to tell you when I started my PhD in the US. Some of the things that they were teaching us when we started, these are things I learned with Dr. Kuala and Dr. Buntum in year 1 at UB as a math major.
Oh, wow.
And they were teaching it at the level of PhD. So it didn't take too long. Even the Indians and the Chinese who were in the class with me, I became the resource person. You know, they will come to me, how do you solve this problem? I said, you didn't see this in undergrad? They said, no. I said, we did this thing in year 1 in undergrad. But that's a whole different story.
The advantage of having a complex study system.
Yeah, our system. Theoretically, we are good. Okay, we are good. Theoretically, we are good. The functionality is where the connection is not perfectly done yet. But back to it again. So you can come over, get your master's. If you decide to stay in your major like I did, fine. A good number of persons will come there and decide, you know what, I just want to do IT. I want to work from home and just enjoy the liberty of working at home. Some will come in and say, you know what, I want to get into healthcare. And healthcare is just not it's not nursing only. I know a couple of Cameroonians who own businesses, they own senior homes, they own things, and there are many opportunities. The taxation law, like Mr. Musoke mentioned in the US, have incentives for those kind of businesses, and they take advantage of that. In our case, before you start a business, you go and see an accountant or a CPA, you know, to kind of help you out, and they will direct you and the rest. But here, people just start and then they get bogged down with all the taxes and the rest. So I know people who went into businesses and they are making 10 times what I make per month. And that's okay, that's good. So there are plenty of opportunities out there. Contact some of us and we'll give you information. We may not have money to give you, but we'll give you information and let you know that, hey, with your liberal arts degree, you can still make a difference. You can still live your dream. Both the Cameroon dream and the American dream, whichever one you prefer.
What about those without the degree? Is there some degree of hope for them as well?
Those without degrees, I cannot be a professional in everything. It's possible. I hear people talking about lines. I have no idea about those ones, okay? This new line is here, this new line is here, that new line. I'm not a professional on those kind of lines, so I would not know that. I went through academia, so when it comes to academia, I can talk to academicians and those who are interested that this is how and what and when, you know, you can come in. Now, for those without degrees, it's very possible. I heard once that there are some people who get scholarships to actually start high school in the U.S. Others get scholarship to start undergraduate studies in the U.S. I don't know many of those in person, and so I'm not able to talk as far as that line is concerned. But most of the people I've helped are those with first degree that are coming in to do masters, and mostly because those ones are almost guaranteed to get graduate teaching assistant or graduate research assistant. Those who, if you decide to come in on your own without a teaching assistant or a research assistant, even if you get an I-20, there is a 90% chance that you may not get the visa because America, the embassy will not believe that you can sponsor yourself, okay, or that your family will sponsor. Whatever bank statement you give would not be believed because, trust me, 1 year tuition in the U.S. is about $16,000, and we are looking at something close to 10 million francs CFA or more. So it's not easy. They know that you probably don't have that amount of money, and you're not able to sponsor yourself for 4 years. But if you come with an assistantship, you are most likely going to get admission, get your visa, and do whatever you want to do.
You heard it right here on Excellence Impact right here over High Television that one tip, if you want to have a visa to study out of the country, have a teaching or research assistant. Trust me, you heard it here. You didn't hear it somewhere else. It was only right here on Excellence Impact. And of course, we are looking at the points where we're trying to reconcile both home and global opportunities, Mr. Musoke and Professor. We are at the era wherein we talk about the world being a global village, where we are interconnecting even when we're working from home. You've mentioned that a Cameroonian can be at home and still work for an IT company in the US. We are at a point where teachers are going global at the same time. Even doctors want to go global, even without going out of the country. We have youth going to attend workshops and all of that in the Western countries, and we have youth in Africa competing in or engaging in competitions with other youths from other countries. I'll throw the question out to the house. How can a Cameroonian and African youth beef up themselves to compete and engage in these global opportunities and competitions? Maybe I start first with you, Mr. Musoke.
Yeah, let me talk from a professional perspective. You know, there are professional certifications. I've gone through many of those professional certifications, which is a universal standard. Those in the US, that's what they write. Those in Europe, that's what they write. Those in India, that's what they write. These are international certifications. They do exist in most of the professional fields, in accounting, in IT, in many of these fields, in engineering and so on. Especially in the IT field today, where you have so many branches of IT, so many branches. You can really be certified in one area, for example, cyber security and cloud computing. You can be certified. You can be certified in DevOps, and there are many. You can become a DevOps engineer and so on. There are just so many of them. So one of the best things, especially if you wish to work from here, is that you need to look at one of these areas or two